Right, so it's Mr. Dosser here. First of all, I apologise for not uploading. I could come up with some excuses. I've been busy, full-time job, blah, 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 but I'm not going to go into it. Let's just go into the video of why Mixer failed, the downfall of Mixer. So starting in 2016, Microsoft bought Beam. It's a startup streaming company. They bought them out and they renamed it to Mixer. Now, the website they made was really slick, really good user interface. When people compared it like to like with Twitch, they actually prefer the user interface of Mixer. Now, you think to yourself, right, that's a good start. You got a good user interface. Now, Twitch had the monopoly. Twitch had been around for several years. They had all of the audience. Now, Mixer had to take some of those people from that. Now, they tried to do it naturally, like organic growth, by appealing to the small-time streamers. I call them small-time streamers. It's the only real way I can actually say it without... I'm trying not to sound offensive, but they're not getting the same views as the top-tier ones. So they said to the small-time streamers, look, you're not going to be able to compete against the Ninjas and the Shrouds and etc. So we're going to offer you a platform whereby it's not saturated like Twitch, and you can still make a decent return, like decent money out of it. You can make a living out of it. Now, they tried to do that by giving small-time streamers an opportunity. However, it wasn't really working. And in the beginning of 2019, they didn't really make a dent in Twitch's monopoly. So they signed Ninja, the biggest streamer on the biggest streaming platform. Now, for Twitch, that was an absolute nightmare. But this deal was into the millions, if not tens of millions. We still don't know to this day the exact figure. So they signed Ninja, which is a real statement by Mixer and a real statement by Microsoft in general, because Microsoft, as we know, have tons of money. So they signed Ninja, and then they signed Shroud, two top-tier streamers from Twitch. And now they're on Mixer. So the logic here is you sign the top people, the rest will follow. And unfortunately that didn't happen, because what was happening was that people weren't viewing, people weren't watching Mixer. So the likes of Ninja and Shroud were not replicating the views they were getting on Twitch. They weren't getting anywhere near those numbers. And you could tell on the streams they were a bit concerned, like, hang on, I'm not getting anywhere near what I used to get on Twitch. So Microsoft had chucked tons of money at this. They built a website, they signed the top tier people, and you think to yourself, this should be working, but it didn't. And I think one of the reasons why was that Amazon bought out Twitch, and they had the whole Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime, whereby if you have Amazon Prime, which a lot of people do, I mean, I myself have Amazon Prime, you might do as well, you're given one free subscription a month to one streamer, whoever you want, and that is a great incentive. And I use mine. I've actually used mine recently. I've actually used it, and I'm subscribed to one of the streamers. So that is one thing that Twitch has done, and I don't think that option was available with Mixer. Now, here is where things go very wrong for Mixer and Microsoft in general. The 22nd of July of this year, 2020, they gave 1 month notice that they were closing down. Now, I think people had an idea that it wasn't going that well, it wasn't getting the same viewership. However, to only give 1 month notice and the way in which they did it was quite shocking. So far that the staff working at Mixer were unaware. They found out pretty much at the same time, the same day as the streamers did, that they were being closed down. And there was only a select few, maybe a handful, you probably count on one hand the number of employees that knew Mixer was going to shut down. So I think the issue in Microsoft is we see this with other things that they've done. So with the Windows Phone, if you remember, hardware is amazing. They made amazing phones with Nokia, solid hardware, solid cameras. I remember the Nokia Lumia Ray, amazing phones, but they did not provide the updates. They did not provide the software. Even though they provided the software, it wasn't up to date. It was lacking features. It was, whenever I tried using the phone, I thought, this is a wonderful phone. It feels really nice to use, aesthetically pleasing. However, it lacked the app support. They didn't listen to their customers. And the same could be said about the Surface tablets and the Surface range. Yes, the hardware's amazing. I've used one. Actually, I've used one quite a few times, the Surface range. And yes, they're expensive. But then you think to yourself, well, if I'm spending this much money on this kind of hardware, I'm expecting some, amazing specifications, an amazing processor, etc., amazing support, but you do not get that. And I find if you're spending that kind of money, you start looking at other people, you start looking at other manufacturers such as Apple with their MacBook, you start looking at Razer, you start looking at Dell, you start looking at the Lenovo's, you start looking at the ThinkPads, that sort of thing. You start to think, why am I paying such a high premium if it's not going to actually support my needs? So, and I think Windows is an operating system, and it's taken them time to get it right. And I think they need to do the same with Mixer. They didn't give it enough time. Twitch didn't, suddenly overnight become this massive success. It took a good 8 years, maybe even more, for it to grow properly. And I think Mixer, maybe they released it a bit too early. I think if they released it now, with the way Twitch is going, I think they might have stood a chance. And I think if they gave it an extra year to 18 months and offered a bit more support, I think they would have, made an effect. They would have put a dent in the monopoly that Twitch currently has, or had at the time. And I think if they offered some sort of incentive, if they signed up with some sort of company, whether it was Spotify or someone else, say, if you have a membership with this, you can then have one free subscription, similar to the likes of Twitch Prime. If they had that system in place, maybe they would have had a massive audience. Maybe they could actually gather people to, get people to move over, because it gives them an incentive. Because if something's already existing, if you want to compete with another product that's already out there, the original product, the only way you're going to get them over is A, it's cheaper, or B, you could offer more. If you can't do any one of those two things, you're not going to get the audience. So I think that is why Mixer failed. So let me know what you think. Do you think Mixer was, from the start was doomed to fail? Do you think there's some things they did wrong? Am I wrong? Do you think Mixer was amazing? Or do you think Microsoft should never bother in the first place? Let me know what you think, and please subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time.